Let's talk consumer prices this morning, because guess what? You're going to be paying more for groceries pretty soon. You're going to be paying more for gas. You're going to be paying more for a whole lot of things, because the consumer price index is coming out later this week, and all accounts seem to be pointing in the same direction that it was just in July, with consumer prices expected to rise for the third consecutive month. I know, you don't want to hear it. It's hard to swallow. These are the facts. And so again, why this government needs to pass a stimulus bill in order to be able to take care of the American people. We don't have stimulus money. We don't have direct checks. We do not have unemployment benefits. We do not have landlord assistance to be able to pay for our rent. We don't have rental assistance. We don't have a whole host of things right now, because we're more interested in bailing out Wall Street and businesses. That's what the corporate elites want you to do. They want to keep supporting that. And now we're going to be paying more for basic items like gasoline and others. Even though it was at a slower pace of increase since June. That's good news, and July. But prices have picked up for some goods again as the economy reopens. The overall, right now, the inflation pressure has been muted. That's a good sign. So we're not seeing that inflation going up. That's a good sign. July, though, for instance, transportation services went up, apparel went up, used cars, the price for used cars went up. Gasoline prices jumped 5.6% and accounted for roughly 1/4 of the increase in the overall index. Gasoline prices, because of the lack of demand for gas. So they need to make their money somehow. And again, here's an opportunity for the federal government to step in. They've already been subsidizing the oil and gas industry. I mean, think how much money they make off the backs of the government, and they're allowing them. There should be a stipulation in there. Hey, we're going to bail you out and help you out, oil industry, but you're not going to raise prices for the next year on the American consumer. But no, of course, because all of these guys are bought and sold inside of Washington, and that's not something that they would want to do, is to protect the American consumer from the things that we actually have to pay for, like gas and food. Again, these overall items like food, 30 million unemployed people right now, and now we have to pay more for food items. This looks very similar to what happened in July. Here's what unfolded in July and how all of this stuff is going to happen again. We're going to see this number on Friday, but all signs are already pointing to increased prices by the end of this week.
Percent from 1.2%. Again, a significant increase over the past month. Taking a look at a breakdown of some of the numbers, the gasoline index accounted for about 1/4 of the monthly increase in the headline number, up 2.5% for energy itself. Gasoline 5.6%. Food decreased 0.4%, and food at home down 1.1%, maybe reflecting the fact that more people were able to go out for lunch and dinner to restaurants.
How many of you started going out to restaurants more? I know that there's been a big move to try to get back out there, so this could have accounted for some of the prices at home now. Now they're having to compete with that, so prices are going back up just for milk and eggs. Tell me in the chat, what are you paying for bananas? What are you paying for eggs? What are you paying for milk, cheese? Basic items that we need to survive, take care of our family. It's not like we're buying lobster tails right now, but the basics, bread prices. Remember how much, and we have such a terrible food chain problem in this country, and because of what happened during the pandemic, we had to throw out so much food. These farmers ended up having a surplus of food. They couldn't get it to distribution centers. They couldn't get it out to the American people. And because they had to lay off workers, they had corn piling up. They had all of the potatoes piling up and going bad. And they couldn't get it out to the American people because we didn't have an infrastructure in place. Now, you want to talk about the failure of our federal government. That's what you talk about. Not having a plan in place. Now, there's a lot to criticize President Obama for. Look, I think his administration was also, bought and sold by corporate elites. They don't get off the hook. But President Obama warned of this and talked about having a food supply protocol in place in case of a pandemic. we need to have this type of a protocol in place so farmers, that food can be resourced and brought into local food pantries. It can be repositioned if we have to go through this again. But right now, we're seeing gas prices jumping 5.6% again in July, where it's going up again, third straight month. You know, you talk about mileage. I know one of our viewers here, John, he drives for a living. He's out there delivering. You know, you're paying, then that mileage goes up. And then what if the federal government, or the cost of gas goes up? Does the federal mileage write-off on your IRS tax returns also go up? Does it keep up with the rate of gasoline prices? Typically, it doesn't. Increases are, obviously, people are driving more, so we have more increased costs for gas. States are continuing to reopen their economies, and there are people who are not wanting to fly, so they're driving on vacation, so that's why we're paying more for it. Food and energy, those costs also rose 0.6%, so paying more. And now as we enter into some of the colder months, how much are we going to be paying for heating oil in the house? Natural gas. So we're seeing our largest month-to-month increase since January of 1991. Think about that. And we were in a recession in 1991, where George H.W. Bush lost and propelled Bill Clinton into the White House. But we were in a recession at that point, and we saw food prices and energy prices through the roof. Not since 1991 have we been facing this high of prices. Let me know in the chat below, are you suffering from this? Are you seeing this reflected in some of your prices? Let me know and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for smashing that like button as well. I want to hear what you're spending extra money on. And make sure that, you know, this is an opportunity for you to call your government, to get on that phone and tell them that you need assistance, and you need assistance now. We'll make sure in the video below we have a link that you can call your local switchboard for your representatives, for your senator, and demand stimulus.